Some of you may have heard of this technique called the Pomodoro Technique before. It's a really simple way to help yourself study or focus on a task over an extended period of time. However, it might not work for you like how it didn't work for some of my students at first when I taught them. And the reason is because of their mindset while using it. So in this video, I'm going to cover two parts. First, I'll teach you how to use the Pomodoro Technique, and second, I'm going to teach you how to adopt the right mindset and tweak the technique so that it works for you. If you're new here, my name is Magnum and I've been working with students for about 8 years now. Currently, I'm studying for a master's degree in counselling and I make videos that I hope are helpful for youths like you. Alright, Pomodoro Technique in 1 minute. Use a timer app to help you with this. Study for 25 minutes, rest for 5 minutes, do this 4 times, and then take a 15 minutes break. Rinse and repeat. And that is the Pomodoro Technique. It's really simple, but what I've learned from my students is that in order for it to work properly, it needs to be accompanied by the right mindset along with some tweaks. So let's talk about how we can make it work for you. First, let me explain why the Pomodoro Technique works. When we start off with the aim of completing a 3-hour study session without the Pomodoro Technique, what usually happens is that after the first hour, half hour, or even sooner than that, we start to lose our motivation or stamina. Why? Because let's say we are half an hour into the study session and we pause to check the time. We will see that we still have 2.5 hours more of studying to go before we are done. It is very demoralizing. The Pomodoro Technique works by breaking up your study session into smaller chunks so that if you pause to check the time while studying, you will never have more than 25 minutes ahead of you before you get to take a break. And that's the mindset you need to adopt. Stop seeing your study session as 3 punishing hours of non-stop studying. Start seeing it in the smaller chunks of 30 minutes, where 25 minutes is spent studying hard and then you are rewarded with a 5-minute break. Do it a few times, and then reward yourself with a longer 15 to 30 minute break. Now, the problem with that mindset is that while 25 minutes may seem fine to some of you, there are also some of you who find 25 minutes of studying to be a really long time. And 5 minutes of studying might be too short, even for a quick break. So this brings me to my next point, which is to tweak the duration and ratio so that it is suitable for you. 25 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of rest is just a guideline. You don't want to stray too far from it, like 60 minutes of studying or 30 minutes of rest. But otherwise, you can and should adjust it to something that works better for you. But how do you know what works for you, or what happens if the amount that works for you is too low to be meaningful? One principle that you're going to hear me bring up in many of my videos is to start small. Here's an example. If you do weightlifting and you want to be strong enough to lift 100 kilograms, you don't start by lifting 100 kilograms straight away, because you're not going to be strong enough to lift it without hurting yourself. You start with lighter weights and slowly build up your muscles, making small increments until you are eventually strong enough to lift 100 kilograms. That's the principle of starting small. So if you are new to using the Pomodoro Technique, or if it hasn't been working for you in the past and you want to try it again, then start small. Aim to have a single 1-hour study session first, and then break it into 3 sessions of 15 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of rest. If that's still too difficult for you, then make it easier. Go for 10 minutes of studying and 10 minutes of rest. Using our weightlifting analogy, if it's too heavy, then make it lighter. Find the ratio that you can do comfortably and successfully. Once you got that, increase it by just a little bit during your next session so that it becomes uncomfortable to do but can still be done successfully. Do that until it becomes comfortable again, and then repeat what you did before by increasing it a little. Here's an example. So let's say 10 minutes of studying and 10 minutes of rest works for you now. It is comfortable to do and you can do it successfully. For your next session, you can either increase it to 15 minutes of studying and keep it at 10 minutes of rest, or you can reduce your rest so that it becomes 10 minutes of studying and 5 minutes of rest instead. I found that with my students, it's helpful to give them something clear to aim for, so I recommend that you try to aim for 20 to 30 minutes of studying and 5 to 10 minutes of rest. You don't want to rest too long because then you lose momentum. I had a student who could do 40-10 and another who did 20-10. Both ratios work because it is the ratio that works best for each of them individually. There's no point trying to do more if you can't maintain it throughout your entire 2 or 3 hour study session. So to summarize this part, find the ratio that works for you. Start at what you can do comfortably and successfully, increase it so that it becomes uncomfortable but can still be done successfully, and stick with it until it becomes comfortable again. Then you repeat what you did by increasing it a little again. Keep repeating and increasing while aiming for a ratio that's around 20 to 30 minutes of studying and 5 to 10 minutes of rest. You can go higher with the duration for studying, but I wouldn't recommend going higher for the duration of rest because you will start to lose momentum. When used correctly, the Pomodoro Technique can be really helpful with studying or focusing on a task for an extended period of time. Just remember to adopt the right mindset and see it as short sessions with a small reward at the end of each one. And also, take the time to adjust and find a ratio that works for you. My name is Magnum. I hope this video was helpful for you. Subscribe to the channel for more, and I hope to see you again in the next video. And as always, remember that I am proud of you for even just trying. Bye bye!